Let me give you a very weird promise. This promise is that you can get everything you want without doing anything. You can achieve that by using the number 3 everywhere, in everything you do, by implementing the number 3. How does it work? That's actually very simple. The reason why there might be a lot of friction in everything you want to accomplish, in everything you do, is because you're trying to isolate what you're trying to accomplish from all the rest. You're trying to accomplish one thing, you're trying to do one thing, to isolate it from all the rest. And this is what's creating the friction. And by using this rule, by implementing the number 3 everywhere, you solve this problem, you smooth your experience of reality. Let's talk about duality. Let's start with that. The fact that reality is dual, and actually it's also interconnected, but we're going to come to that in this video. Anything you want to get, anything you want to accomplish, you need to be conscious of the fact that you will need to get its opposite as well. You can't get anything without getting its opposite. This is the dual nature of reality. And unless you integrate this fact into your experience of the world, unless you do that, there is always going to be frictions. It's never going to be stable, balanced, smooth. It's always going to be like rigid. Like you're trying to get something and you're getting a resistance from the world. It's not going to be smooth. There is a very simple way to represent that in your mind. It's a shift in how you illustrate what you want to get. Look, instead of seeing it like a point, I'm actually going to draw it. Let me actually just draw it here. Instead of seeing what you want to get like a point, like this, I want to get that up. I want to get this thing. Instead of seeing it in that way, represent it in your mind like a dimension. It's a dimension like that, up. It's not a point, it's like a line, a dimension. And look, the dimension is generated by the opposite of what you want. So look, if I try to illustrate it with color, here will be like what you want, what you desire, what you like, what you enjoy. But this experience is not actually just a single point. It's lying in an entire dimension which exists in relation to its opposite, what you don't want. And this is like the dimension. In order to get the thing you want here, you will need to get all of the dimension. So you will need to get that as well, what you don't want. Let's say, for example, you want to get rich, a very basic, simple example. You want to get rich, but in the process of getting rich, you will need to stumble upon probabilities that you lose everything, probabilities that you become homeless, possibilities, your fear of losing everything. If you want to get rich, you will have to face along the way. You will have to accept being homeless, having no money, being poor, being no one. You want to get famous, you want to be known all around the world, you want to have success, you will need to come to accept and be okay with being no one, with being just a normal human being. You want to be superior to other people, you want to be superior. There's nothing bad in it. I'm not bringing moral in the thing. If you want to be superior to other people, fine, that's a good experience, but you will need to face being inferior. You can't sustain being superior to other people. Look, what is this experience that you want? Let's say, okay, getting rich or being attractive. Let's take that example, being attractive to people. But what does it mean to be attractive? Does it even exist really, this experience, this point of being attractive? What does it mean, being attractive? Well, if you want to define what being attractive is, you will need to talk about other stuff. It's being like charismatic, it's being confident, it's having this and that. It's no matter what definition you come with it, you have to relate it to other stuff. This is not isolated. And if you connect all those things together, you bring them together, This is actually like a dimension, this circle. Okay, here we're stumbling upon the notion of topology in mathematics. This circle is actually like a line. That's a dimension. Imagine that the circle is like, it's like this line, it's infinite, it's a dimension up. And here you have what you want, your experience, being attractive to other people. But look, if you keep going, being confident, having this and that, having self-esteem, being funny, no matter what you think about, you can see intuitively with this example that it will come with things that you don't want. We'll have to face things that you don't want to get any of them. No matter how much you push the definition, it's always linked to things you don't want, to the opposite of what you want. So all those things that you want in this dimension, which are linked to what you want to get or what you want to accomplish, it's intertwined with the things that you don't want. And so again, we are once again fluidifying the perception of reality using kind of topological notions to say that those two representations are actually the same. If you put one at the end and the other at the end, it's the same as that. Dualities, they come together, this is the same. You want something, you need to get the opposite as well. Because this is, none of them exist outside of it's linked to other stuff which are creating the dimension, which are creating the bridge between what you want, what you don't want, the opposite. This is creating this dimension of all you need to get in order to get this thing that you want. And so actually again, kind of topological notion, kind of fluidifying reality. When you think about it, when you think about what it means to be something, what is what you want, what is what you don't want, well, we've explained that. It's kind of the same to say that there is what you want, what you don't want, and to say that they are scrambled to each other, like in this one, in this sketch. This is kind of the same, they come together. This is the basic notion of yin and yang. What you don't want comes with what you want, and what you want comes with what you don't want. So look, for anything you want to accomplish or to get, let's use this rule, the number 3. Because now we've only talked about duality, let's take the number 2 instead, and then we will go to 3. I told you that you need to put it somewhere, to integrate it somewhere in your experience. So let's do it with time. Let's say that you want to get something. You want to, I don't know, for example, you want to record this video, or you want to, I don't know, you have some work to give to your boss, or whatever experience you need to go through. Now let's use this rule with, let's put it in time. To get that, you intuitively have in your mind an intuition. Not when you think about it, but intuitively it comes with an intuition of how long it's going to take, how much time you're going to have to put in this work, in this experience, how long it will take to get this, even if it's not work, but how long it will take. Now you will take this intuition that you have about how long it's going to take, and you're going to duplicate it for the dual of what you want to get. Remember, there is what you want to get, and because a human being as a default, he's fragmented. He wants to isolate stuff in reality. So because you come from this perception that I want this and that's just this, in order to fluidify, to balance, to have a more harmonious experience of the world of reality, of yourself, you duplicate this time that you intuitively think it's going to take, and boom, it will take 2 times this time to get it, because you need to get the dual as well. You want to go to the restaurant or to a party and do some stuff and network or eat properly. Okay, there is the dual with it. You might have some problems on the way. You might have some stuff you need to check, something you remember, something someone calls you. You need to take care of something. Finally, the food is not as good as you expected. Whatever. The time you expect it to take, duplicate it. Double by 2. Because there will always be the dual of what you want to experience. And you need time for that. So anything you want to get, anything you want to accomplish right now, multiply by 2 the time it's going to take to accomplish it. Or you can do the other way around with another metric. For example, let's say it's going to take the same time, but it's only going to be half as good as you expect. It's going to take the same time as you expect, but it's going to be half as good, only half as good. Or it's going to take the same time as you expect, but it's going to be twice as hard. You're going to have to put twice as much effort as what you expect. You just put the number 2 somewhere. You have to put it somewhere. Either you multiply by 2 the polarity that you don't want, either you divide by 2 the polarity that you want. This is going to balance your experience of reality. This is going to make you go from kind of this experience of the world, like up and down, and getting overall more alive with time, but ups and downs, and that's frustrating because there is rigidities, to an experience of the world which is more like that, like very balanced. It's going up, but in a peaceful, stable way. You bring balance to all of that. When you do that, when you practice this, expecting stuff to be either twice as hard or twice as long or only half as good, or when you do that, is that all the discomfort that you are going to try to escape from during your experience of what you want, during the process of getting it, all of that, let me sit here. All of that, my friend, up. It's as if you're going to take it and handle it now, before starting in your planning. It's as if instead of going into your plan and then trying to dodge all the discomfort that you're going to face because of the dual of what you want, it's always going to be here, always. And instead of trying to dodge it and so have a very discomfortable experience, you're taking it from the start and you're changing the big picture you're making of what you're going to do. This is uncomfortable. When you practice that with everything in your life, everything you want to do from the moment you wake up, you're like, okay, it's going to be either twice as long, either only half as satisfying, either I'm going to have to put twice as much effort. That's uncomfortable. Every time you want to do something, you're like, it's uncomfortable. But what you're doing is that the discomfort that you will face anyway, because you will have to face the dual of what you want, you're handling it from the start. Like, okay, it creates another big picture of how things are going to unfold. This moment is uncomfortable. But then, because you have the right picture of how things are going to happen, then this is smooth. It goes by itself. This is easy. You handle it from the start. And the more you do that, the more you solve this unbalancing of your experience of the world globally. When you do that with everything, you will solve it locally. With everything you want to do, it's as if you go from trying to dodge the dualities within your experience, from facing it in the overall picture. And when you practice doing that with everything, it's as if with time, with practice, you solve your dual perception of reality, what makes it up and down, at higher and higher level, at more and more global level. When you are used to living in this way, everything you want to do, you multiply by 2 what you don't want, or divide by 2 what you want. And so then it's smooth. Well, it's as if with time you do that more and more and more globally. Your perception of all your different ambitions, of all you want to do, it's globally more harmonious. It's more balanced. Everything circulates well. So you're going to do it with higher and higher levels with time, and it's going to happen by itself. Just by applying this rule, it's going to happen by itself. Now, why the number 3? Why 3? Why not 2? Because, okay, duality is not as simple as this against that. It's more like the notion of interbeing, interconnectedness. Everything is connected to each other. It's not like this against that. It's more like this. It's not like this separated from that. It's like this separated from that and that and that and that and this and this and this, which are all separated from this and this and this, and everything separated from each other, and so everything connected actually to each other. It's not like this against that. because those are also defined by what lies between. And the thing that lies between, you see, everything is connected. And so this is why we will use the number 3, because there is a first jump to make in your head to balance, to make more peaceful, more harmonious your experience of the world, to have less rigidity. It's this jump of duality, to be like, okay, everything I want to get, I need to get the dual with it. So 2, you take the time or you take the effort and you duplicate. You allocate it for the dual. But now look, as you're going to go through your plan, like let's say you're planning something, or I don't even need to give an example, you want to get or do anything. In the process of that, you're going to evolve in other directions as well. You will work on something. Let's say you go to the gym. It's hard, okay, all right. It's going to be twice as painful as you expect. Okay, right. But then when you're doing that, you're not only just improving on your musculation on the gym. When you are at the gym, you're also having your mind wandering on stuff, clarifying. You're having ideas about your project, about you're understanding the world better. You have different perception of everything. It gives you new perception on stuff, new angles of thoughts. Maybe you will meet people, maybe it will make you feel good, which will then allow you to, I mean, it's obvious if you feel good, it's going to get other stuff. So you're improving in all other dimensions as well. At first, you can't see that it's improving all dimensions of your experience. You can only see that it's improving some others, but then it's the same. You go from locally to globally, and it grows with time. And so this is why we go by the number 3, because there is kind of 2 jumps to make in the perception. 1, to allocate space for the dual, and second jump is to allocate space for the interconnectedness of this with everything. For example, when you procrastinate, you want to do something and you end up procrastinating, or you end up spending time on your phone and you should not, and then you self-criticize. You're not happy about that. Fuck, I want to do this and this and this, but I end up doing that. It's because your mind has to deal with the world as it is, with reality. And in reality, everything is dual and interconnected. You don't get one thing without allocating time and space for the rest as well. It's all connected. You want to improve one direction, you need to improve all directions, even the dual directions, which are actually, when you really get into that, not that much dual. It's just like the mirror. It's not like this one is positive and this one negative. It's more like this is mirrors of each other. This one is a mirror of this one. It's not like this one is good and this one is bad. This is a fragmented perception of reality, which gives this impression. But when you really study it, when you really practice this number 3 rule with everything multiplied by 3 or divided by 3, you start to realize, fuck, it's like, okay, there is an opposite, other stuff, but it's not like this one is good and this one is bad. This is just like mirrors, different angles of the same thing. Okay, we're going kind of esoteric now, but just practice this rule. Just try it, give it a try. You will see how much it smoothes everything. It's really smoothing your experience of the world. All right, I guess this is it. We're done. Welcome to Bali, brother. I just arrived. Quarantine now. It's quarantine. I need to stay here until tomorrow, and then I'm free. But look, that doesn't feel like a quarantine. It just feels very peaceful. Peaceful, motherfucker. Oh god, I forgot the most important thing, the title of the video. Why get everything without doing anything? I forgot to talk about this. But just because your mind, your body, everything about you is made to function properly. This is made to function properly. This is meant to get you other things you want. This is meant for that. The only reason why it's hard is because you're not giving your mind the right space for doing its work. Your mind, your actions, they are already programmed to do all the stuff that you want it to do. It's just that if your perception of what it needs to do is wrong, then you come in conflict with your own mind, with your own behaviors. You don't trust it. You don't trust that it's doing what it has to do. You have intentions, desires, and then your mind and your body and your behaviors and your emotions, everything is going to go in the right direction. It's going to get you everything you want if you just let it have the time, have the space to do it in the way it knows how to do it. You don't really know how to get what you want. Your mind knows, your thought knows, your body knows. It is supposed to happen by itself when you just sit and you wait. Your mind is going to come up with ideas, with thoughts, it's going to think about stuff. You're going to move, you're going to grab something, you're going to do stuff. As long as you're not proactively meditating. You just wait, you're going to come up with stuff. This is programmed to function in order to get you what you want. If you just allow it to function accordingly to how reality works, duality and interconnection. This is what your mind understands. This is what everything understands. Switch the perception, and then you notice that you get everything by itself. You don't have to do anything. The doing happens by itself. You will just end up having ideas, organizing your thoughts, going for activities, without actually having to do it. The doing will happen by itself. That's what it means in the title of the video, that you can get everything by doing nothing. Just use the number 3 in everything. And then by practice, you go from local to global and more global and more global. It will get you to a stable experience of everything. Alright, if you like the video, click the like button, subscribe, look at the description, so on, so on. Right. It was good to see you, my friend, and let's just conclude on that. See you. Funny fact, by the way, I'm watching the video now, and actually it's, let's say, half as good as what I wanted, because well, my face is way too close. I'm moving a lot in the room, and it was a bit harder than I thought to do it. So, well, we're pretty close to the number 3. So what, either I do it again, so it takes more time, but it's better, come back to 3. Either I put it in this way, what I will do. We're around 3. It was 3 times more painful and worse at the end as what I expected. But it was peaceful. It's peaceful to do it. Like, at no point I really felt any kind of friction, because I know how things are unfolding. Like, there is just a deep sense of peace when you use this number 3. Like, okay, that's how it is. That's the only way it can be. That's the only way it can be, and that's perfect. That's perfect how it is. It's going to only be a third as good every time, or 3 times more painful. But with this comes a deep sense of peace, and the progression is more stable, more balanced.